Hi there, Shane here from Spacious Counselling in Guelph and online. I want to talk today about grief, and it's something that's very personal for each person, and it's something that none of us can avoid. We'll all go through it at some stage in our life. And grief isn't just about the loss of a loved one through death. We can also have grief around the loss of a job, the loss of a breakup, a relationship. We can have grief around some things that may have happened in our childhood, or some things that didn't happen in our childhood that we would have liked to have had happen. There's many different forms and different ways in which grief can show up for people, and there's no right or wrong way to grieve. It's a very personal journey. There's different models though that can guide a little, but with any of the models, it's really important to realize that you get to personalize all of them and figure out what your particular journey through grief or with grief or living with grief is like for you. One of the models that's most commonly known is the 5 stages of grief. And the 5 stages that are commonly referred to are denial, bargaining, anger, depression, and acceptance. People used to think that these were linear. They're definitely not linear, and not everybody experiences all of these emotions, and they definitely may or may not happen at different stages. It's not like you move through them. It's more like a little bit here and there throughout the process of grief and during grief. And some people don't experience those emotions, and that's totally fine. Another model is called the 4 tasks of mourning, and that looks at kind of like accepting the reality of the loss. And again, doesn't mean being okay with it. It just means the loss has occurred and we can see that the loss has occurred. We kind of learn to manage through and with the pain of the grief. And then we have to kind of like maybe explore the world without the person or without the thing that we wanted to have had in our life. And then we try and find a connection or make meaning out of it. There's another model called the dual process model of grief, and that believes it's a bit more dynamic. It believes that we oscillate between 2 types of stress, like a loss-oriented stress, which is that we're missing something, and then a restoration-oriented, which is the stress around trying to move forwards without the person or the event or the changes that have happened. Grief also comes in many different forms. There's anticipatory grief, where we might be anticipating the loss of someone or something, like during a terminal illness. For instance, complicated grief can also be a thing that happens for people where it lasts, the relationship with a person is not so clear or transparent. Complicated grief can be long, prolonged, and intense, and it disrupts daily life. Disenfranchised grief is where sadness around a miscarriage or the loss of a pet, and typically in society it's not as supported the same way, so it's disenfranchised from the other types of support that we may get around the grief or the loss of the death of a loved one who's been in our life for a long time. At Spacious Mind Counselling, we are here to support you through your grief journey. We are a team of dedicated therapists who understand that each person navigates grief differently. And we want to provide a space where you can feel comfortable to explore your particular journey. We offer compassion, caring, listening, non-judgmental. We also provide tools and skills that may be of use to you during your journey with grief. If you'd like to reach out to us, please feel free to book a session, a consultation through our website, or contact us to find out more. Thanks and take care. Bye-bye.